Now we're getting in it. NightPhoenix versus Luolis. Bam, bam, bam. Who's excited? I'm excited. This is going to be a good one. Infernal versus Infernal. We got to see some Infernal versus Celestial. We got to see some Vanguard versus Celestial. Now we're going to see some Infernal versus Infernal, which feels a lot of like the matches we were casting in the Alpha Navigator Cups during the betas. But we get good lucks, have funs coming out from both players. But spawning up in the north, it is our red Infernal player, known as Luolis. Or Luolis. I don't know. I always say Luolis, but one of these days I should probably ask, how do you pronounce your name? Spawning in the south, though, it is our blue Infernal player, known as NightPhoenix. All right. So both players are going to be opening up with very similar openings here. Now, look at this going the cross spawn location and being able to notice that the Hexen is there. So, because again, you can be able to spawn, vertically or horizontally. So, with the Luolis Hexen making it on over, doing some scouting, confirming what's going on. Yeah, just checking, hey, did you take this quick expansion or do something crazy? And there, look at this scout coming in, getting the confirmation. Sees, okay, there's the Conclave, sees the Iron Vault, knows about the timing of things. So both players are kind of getting settled in. But this positioning here with the Conclave over at the Natural is really kind of indications of what the plans are, where we see a double Iron Vault opening. So both players are already seeing some divergence in their build and openings here, but both of them know exactly what they should be doing in these early stages, which is getting out there and doing some creeping up here. So we're going to be watching and monitoring the creeping strategies of these players. All right. And again, if you're watching the mini-map, pay close attention as you start to be able to see both players will be getting indicators of when they're going to be capturing their towers, and they will be kind of both in this kind of back and forth. All right, I'll get mine, you get yours. Already we see like we talked about, a divergence in plans, though, because the Gaunts are coming out. Now, Gaunts high damage, but now we're in this dance of, okay, do you have a strong enough force? That's a lot more Gaunts. If the Fiends can get on top of it, he'll be okay, but he cannot. So now he's going to be trying to get himself in a position and trying to go for the last hit. Did not really get much extra damage done. So he's in the scramble mode, trying to get back as the Skull, as the Fiends chase him and try to pick off extra damage on the Brutes. But without the Conclave being done here, this is going to be a dangerous spot to be. So they're going to be fighting over there. There's the effigy coming down, but don't forget, it also will help both players in this position here. And NightPhoenix coming in, using some great single targeting down, trying to deal with the Hexen, but the Brutes still left alive, the hardiness of them making it a little bit easier. And now he pops them, turns them into Fiends, and trying to jump on top of this army the best he can and trying to pick off the Gaunts. But the Gaunts still left alive, that little scramble, the little shimmies, the micros, getting him to be able to kind of reposition here. Now, the expansion is almost done, but what else does he have to defend against this? There's a lot of forces coming across the maps. The Gaunt DPS is what we care about in this little even matched fight here between these players here. Additional Brutes coming up, and this is the kind of dangers to being going for just the pure Fiend meta here, going for the pure Brute style of play. Yes, they're fine. They get in there. They're fast. They are very mobile, but the Gaunts deal the damage. That's the part we care about. Now they've shown up, but it's a little bit late. He can be able to allow this to take quite a bit of hits. That's okay, but look at this. Has to bring some imps out in the process to help him absorb some shots and do some damage here. And look at him coming out here, gets his way to the back, and now will be able to start targeting down and dealing some damage the best that he can. But one Brute and two Gaunts is not a lot to deal with here, as the Fiends are getting picked apart here, the imps turning into Fiends as NightPhoenix is all up in Luolis' base, taking out more and more Gaunts, rallying their way across. You can just see the trickle of blue as it moves across the mini-map here. And GG's called. Says, yep, my double Brute opening here with a double Iron Vault was not enough, and I'll be able to have to tap out there, giving NightPhoenix the current lead in this series here. I mean, both players were starting out with a very strong and powerful opening, right? They were sitting there and going for the creep style that they're supposed to go for. I like going for the 1 Iron Vault, 1 Conclave personally. That's my personal preference. Gaunts are very powerful. Now, I could have easily gone the other way if additional brutes were out earlier, right? We did that kind of transition to be able to get up the Conclave, after our expansion. So we're in this weird, we're investing so much into these next stages, but getting out there, losing some fiends right off the bat in the center kind of hurt us quite a bit because we didn't have very much of a fighting force. So losing some of them already made a difference there, and just the extra DPS that was allowed to be alive made a huge difference. Can you hear the cat? Going back to the classics, spawning up here in the north, it is our Infernal player, currently leading 1-0 in this best-of-5 qualifying match. He is NightPhoenix. And you see him already rallying up to start gathering up that Luminite, because he is going to be going for a similar build here with the Iron Vault Conclave opening. On the other side, Luolis is our blue Infernal player, currently down 0-1, going for the same opening. Feels very comfortable with his double Iron Vault, double Brute style of play. Both players messing around with their Hexen, going up here and getting the scouting off. You can be able to easily do this because of the recall ability. So you can get in here and start harassing and start being annoying. And yeah, does a couple of pokes, returns home. Right as, of course, the Hexen for Luolis gets in there, gets the scout off, confirms what's going on. So why is this? This is like the traditional old school beta style of creeping. You put a meat farm here. Sometimes you put a shroud stone up here. There's players used to do shroud stones up here actually during that time. But, oh, Hexen, what are you doing over there? Oh, you got lucky. You got lucky. But utilizing your structures to help you creep is really important, really useful. So that's why that meat farm is positioned in that location to be able to do that. Gaunt's coming out, and you're able to start creeping up immediately. On the other side here, Luolis sending his brutes on over to regroup up with the army. You are relying very much on the Hexen in these stages here to do the infested. But look at this, already moving over here, taking out the watchtower, which is very nice to get some information about what your opponent is up to. In the meantime, we're getting a speed camp. So opting for the health camp first is a very nice choice in this. Allows you to kind of get out, you confirm what's going on the right hand side, and you're ready to go and start moving up to the left hand side of the map. But getting all the watchtowers though is going to be tough. Let's see if the fiends go and try to take that, or are they going to go over and contest over the other one. And look at this, they are getting in here. Will they get any hits? They're going to pounce on some of the gaunts and actually going to start dealing some extra damage here. But look, keep a close eye on the number of gaunts. That's the part that we keep worrying about and getting scared of in these fights, where you go, okay, you don't have a lot of front line, but you never really have to worry about your front line when you have a bunch of fiends blocking the path and absorbing the hits. Oh, interesting. Luolis goes for a nice little meat farm over here, maybe going to try to kind of use that as his central location of aggression, but we will see kind of the fight over the other meat farm. Both players going to be trading off meat farms here. And will this supply, pretty much supply cap, and look, NightPhoenix is at 29 out of 15 supply now. So supply capped here, Luolis 29 out of 27. And there's the kind of reveal, sending the skull on over. Where's your army? What are you doing? So both players kind of in that little bit. But Luolis is the first to get his expansion up and running, be the first one to be able to get out of his supply cap hole here, where on the other side, NightPhoenix sending some fiends over, confirms that there is an expansion going, wants to get into the main base and confirm everything else. And we'll be able to see the timing of the conclave, which is important, right? sees how things are looking and knows exactly what is going on here. And now we see kind of the reposition. Let's take things out as the Fiends actually escape here, which is, you know, very nice. Oh, sorry. Going to get a kill before they escape. All right, repositioning, retaking over all the camps that they can. Both players have kind of taken over the main ones. There's still the two on the outside that they can worry about later, but it's going to be a little bit more to invest in it that you've got to rely on Gaunts to be able to do that. Look at this. More Fiends coming in. I mean, this area is pretty uncontested, but he's going to try to keep one of those alive, but will end up losing one of his imps in the process here. And we'll get another one actually sniped off if he's not careful. And look at this. Very quick, very mobile getting in there. And oh my gosh, does he get it? 8 health. Ooh, very lucky, very lucky. Yeah, let's turn that into a meat farm here. In the meantime, NightPhoenix, of course, has his pathway over to this third base, so he can be able to take that over eventually when he wants to, but it really just allows additional avenues and movement on the map. We're going to be seeing, looks like, a big fight going to be taking place over here. A lot more brutes coming out here. Can they get forward? Look at them kind of clumped up. They're big. They're bulky. They don't always work the way that you want them to do. It's really going to be reliant on the Gaunts, and we see so many of the brutes popping now. He's got to be very careful. That's one of the things that you have to pay attention to and be mindful when they're infested, when you need to pop them so your opponent doesn't get any extra units off of it here. And there they start to fall. This is the danger that we talked about. The Gaunt count is the thing that matters here. More brutes coming in here. He's going to try to use the Fiends to get this around and pick apart a couple of them. One Gaunt will go down. This timing here for moving and contesting is a dangerous one to be in, but we do see the Hellforge is almost finished. We see the Ritual Chamber is done. Do we get our upgrade? There, it's about to finish. So this is the power of going for that one Iron Vault, one Conclave opening. You get to tech up a little bit quicker into this high DPS Gaunt style with the Plague Axes. And now look at, he's looking over here. Okay, is there a path? Yes, there is. Is he going to trap the army here? The Plague Axes are going to make the big difference in this fight. Both players dropping effigies, both players dropping skulls. They're trying to find the best angle, but there's so many Fiends. Defender advantage, is it going to be enough? But the Gaunts, though, that have those Plague Axes made a big difference. But Defender's advantage coming in clutch here, and NightPhoenix's army gets cleaned up. Luolis is able to defend off, will be able to kind of secure his side of the map, and we just immediately see the reaction. Let's send some Fiends out. Let's take over. But NightPhoenix has taken that third base already. He's ready to go. He's transitioning to the next stages here. We see additional conclaves added in here. The Hellforge is, of course, already done. This Fiend's whole job is to spot in case his opponent goes for a third base. That's exactly what these players are doing. This is kind of that tried and true. We've been playing this map since the beta, so we know exactly where our opponents are more than likely going to be. But the Fiend scouts it and confirms the base. A couple more imps clearing it off. We want to have as much pathway as possible. Early on, you're okay with having just a small pathway, but as the game progresses, you want to be able to really maneuver between your natural and your third base as quick as possible. All right. Let's see. Coming in here. Slime's going to start getting attacked. We're going to be taking over the towers again. We're back into that creep mode. You see they've all gone back to neutral. So that means there's more resources available for players if they can start taking them. And that's the next stage here as we go over. Start taking out and securing our spots. Now, no third base here, so that means we do have this potential for a bigger army could come out from Luolis if he hits a nice timing. We see kind of a nice little push up here. He's going to try to get in here, see if he can make something happen. Good snipe here, using the Gaunts to take out the skull. Doesn't want any additional poison, any additional infestation coming in here. So we reposition, get ourselves ready to take more and more camps. Now, okay, we're ready to fight over the Luminite Tower here. We have enough Gaunts that we can be able to do this, right? The Fiends are sitting here running the block. Brutes are now able to kind of run the block, and the Gaunts able to shred through those few camps. But this is the thing. Brutes can't fit through these trees. Only the Gaunts can. So that's why you needed the Gaunts in order to take that. Still is vulnerable, though, if a couple of Fiends come and be able to grab it. But look at this. The Magmadon's in. That's our next transition, our next stage into the game, right? It's going to be very important. We need the Magmadons to get on top of the Gaunts. Those are the two units that we care the most about and should be paying the most attention to. Gaunts, these little axe throwers here, they infest, they deal a lot of damage. The Magmadons have their Stampede Stomp ability that tramples over and deals extra damage and stuns units. A couple free Gaunts, every little unit counts. Where is the Magmadon? Got to be careful, though. The Gaunt army. Oh, he's going to get a nice little positioning here. There's an infest coming down over on the right-hand side here, but look at the Magmadon stampeding. The first one gets his way forward here. The second one trying to. He's trying to get to the Gaunts, and there it is. Look at that. So much stun, so much extra damage here. Brutes, though, up at the front. Defender's advantage, able to kind of help out there. And look, one Magmadon still left alive. Can he be able to get the stomp in? There he goes, stunning and stomping on the Gaunts, but there's so many troops left. There is another Magmadon coming out here for Luolis, and he's able to regroup. So many fiends were created here, and look at this. He's going to go try to use them like a surround. He's going to start shredding and dealing some damage there, but got to be careful. A Magmadon's coming from the north. He didn't see this coming. He's trying to reposition, but look at those stomps, doing a great job, and the army is going to start getting split up, and we're in this big, long stretch of fights taking place here. The Magmadon for Luolis caught up in the north. The Magmadon for NightPhoenix caught in the south, and both Magmadons are taken out here. How many Gaunts are there? That's what we're looking for here. But the Brutes in the front trying to absorb hits, trying to get turned into fiends to be able to pounce and jump on top of all of those Gaunts, and it's not going to be enough here. He needs that next wave, and there it is. A couple more Brutes coming in. An effigy gets dropped down to help heal up, get a little bit of extra armor boost coming on here. But this is very smart. Let's go. Let's get some more speed so I can reposition and go in for another fight here. And there he is, swinging his way in as the Magmadon comes in. Defender's advantage now in favor of NightPhoenix here. And look at the fiends getting stomped out, getting squished behind that Magmadon's foot. And will there be enough? There looks like there's still that slight advantage going in here for NightPhoenix in the Gaunt count. He has his third base up and running. Luolis does not. He is committed to this fight here. He's trying to make something happen, but the Magmadon's getting on top of the Gaunts, and he will be shredding through those. Look at the pile of bones that's falling underneath us. Yes, there are fiends popping up to deal with the Gaunts, but it is not enough, and NightPhoenix takes the series 2-0 in this best-of-5 match. What a game. What a game. That one was very, very close. We got to see some nice little shifts for both players there, back and forth, back and forth. The problem was that the amount of resources that NightPhoenix was able to get to boost him up, not only from the camps, but from that third base, really helped in that last fight. You saw them both pretty much even going into things until that base kicked in, and it was too much to be able to deal with. Being able to have access to additional Magmadons, additional Gaunts, those are the two units that we were keeping an eye on the most in that last fight, and it really came down to that kind of defender's advantage that NightPhoenix provided there, of being able to reinforce and continue on. Now we're going to see how things go. Luolis putting up good fights, doing things, but the double Iron Vault opening doesn't feel as strong. I don't know. I'm all for play what you know, play what you feel comfortable with, and don't worry about what other people are doing. Play your game because you know your game, you've practiced your game. But let's get into it. Spawning up here in the north, currently up 2-0 in this best-of-5, 1 game away from qualifying for the Alpha Navigator Cup Grand Final event next week. He is a NightPhoenix. Going for the Iron Vault. We'll see a Conclave soon. His opponent sticking tried and true, currently down 0-2, looking for some more power to help him push his way to victory. He is Luolis. All right, Hexen's coming in. There is the Conclave opening. Iron Vault Conclave, we've seen it time and time again. I personally like that style, but I can understand why other people might go for the double Iron Vault. The Brutes are very hardy, makes it very easy to creep and not worry about losing any troops, but this is very cool to see. Getting in here with the imp, the trees, of course, are destructible, allowing you to have access to this path. And if you're able to control this tower early enough, you're setting yourself up for a good position. Oftentimes, utilizing your meat farms for being able to creep is a huge victory there, and something that Infernal players need to learn how to do, need to practice, because it will make you a better player. Oh, did he miss his? Oh, he did, but that's okay. We'll be able to get the infest over here. Little things like this. All right. So the main army, very weak. All right. Brute, couple gaunts. High damage, low health. High health, decent damage, but very slow, very mobile. It's going to be relying on the brutes to kind of help him out. We've seen this map time and time again today, but as well as other days. Both players' main goal is to kind of follow their corridors up or follow their corridors down and take over as many camps as possible during this time. But we've also got this setup here, which will be nice when he decides to feel safe enough to go for this, right? This is one of those, I need a decent enough army to be able to sneak in and get this. Now, taking over the speed camp here, getting in, trying to find some information, and he will be able to take the vision camp. So once you get in here and you're starting to see, okay, where are you on the map? This will get revealed, though, and he'll know, okay, so you're up there dealing with the speed camp, all right? And he'll get to be able to confirm that. But he doesn't want to just give this up. Now, here's the benefit of going for a heavier brute count, right? You can just get in and body block and just take over this. Problem is, the gaunts are going to get behind you, and you've got to be really relying on utilizing your fiends to get in there. He's got to be careful, though. Some of these brutes, look, just dancing in the back. Another one shows up, but so much loss damage during that initial fight. He's really going to have to rely on the fiends for that extra burst damage to clean things up here. And we're left with basically 2 brutes, our 1 lone hexen, and that's it. And that is all that she wrote. There are the gaunts recharging, coming back in. Another brute, though, but we've got the health tower. We were able to secure it, so we could fall back with our brute and just kind of hold this location for the time being, forcing our opponent to fall back, regroup up. Very weak, low health gaunts, but we really have got to kind of get in there, use the brutes to tank as many shots as possible before we pop them. There is a danger here, though. This is a 1-base attack. We've got 3 of our Iron Vaults going right now. And, oh, we're going all in on this brute frenzy here. So this is a nice little upgrade to be able to get because we're going for these Iron Vault style of play. Once they get pop, they, of course, will be able to have more movement speed, allowing us a little bit more flexibility here. And that upgrade did just finish here, so let's keep an eye and see how fast they go. And, oh, the Hexen, very low. We'll get taken out, and GG gets called. We get to move in right at that perfect time in here, but that was great. That push timed out phenomenally there with that big contest over the health tower. Very, very nicely done. Luolis showing that the Iron Vault play does indeed work. So we get the 1-2 in this. Very nice. I mean, once he's in your base, like in your face like that, and you're like, okay, I have all this damage, but I don't have the buffers that I need in order to deal with you, right? They are very fragile. They're very weak. So we need to make sure that we're able to have that buffer from fiends, have that buffer from brutes to be able to, you know, absorb the hits, allowing the gaunts in the back to deal all the damage. But when the brutes are on top of the gaunts, they're going to shred. We talked about how much they are paper. We get to see it right there in that little engagement as he gets to move his way in there. And you go, okay, I'll try to weaken things, but it's no guarantee that I'm going to weaken everything that I need to. We got to see the Season 0 one during the beta. Won by Theory. Mixu got second. Now we have 16 players playing in it, 8 qualifying from points, and 8 qualifying today in the last chance qualifier. 4 from the winner's bracket and 4 from the loser bracket. But we got Spawning up here trying to turn things around, trying to come back in this series. Currently sitting 1-2 in this best of 5. Our Iron Vault player, he is Luolis. And his opponent, spawning in the south, the man of Iron Vault and Conclave, going for the Gaunt strategy again. Currently up 2-1. He is NightPhoenix. All right, Secluded Grove is our map. This is the traditional map that we have seen before, one of the ones that was around, one of the longest ones around during the beta stages here. You, of course, have your very wide open natural area. There's a lot of paths that you can worry about, really. It's like this path and this path over here. You, of course, have your vision towers, your Zelnaga towers, as if you were a StarCraft player, to help give additional vision and information and lock down a good avenue of pathways. It pretty much gives you kind of like just the edges so you know what's going on here. Traditionally, we've got our creep camps that are set up, so players are going to be going kind of north to be able to take it out, south from their base to take it out, and do all that creeping and get all the information that they need to as they progress forward here. Of course, this pathway also leads up to our third base. What is traditionally a third base or fourth base? We have this over here, but this is much harder to worry about in taking. Like the trees and being secluded in here make it a little bit easier, hence the Secluded Grove. But really, this is the Secluded Grove part of the map. This big center location here with a lot of resources available. So we will see players be able to kind of get locked in, loaded in, and figure things out here. All right, creeping it up. Keep an eye on the mini-map as you see those indicators and markers pop up. Who controls them? Of course, red goes for Luolis, blue indicating NightPhoenix, and it's going to be pretty much even across the board. One thing that is not going to be even is the Gaunt count. Time and time again, we keep seeing this, is the Gaunt count increase is a very important part of the mid stages of Infernal gameplay, being able to have a lot. And oh, you can, yeah, heal that brute up with that flower. Those healing flowers very important here. But yeah, both players are going to be grabbing and controlling their Illuminite towers here, and this is kind of all right. Eventually, we're going to run out of creeps to take. We're going to run out of towers to control, and we're going to have to find our next plan. And that usually involves us pushing up and trying to take our opponent's towers and try to mess with what they control. Expansions coming down from both players. NightPhoenix slightly ahead. There's the Conclave, Ritual Chamber following it up. So Gaunt counts building up a little bit more. Oh, Luolis switched it up. I thought he was going for the double Iron Vault, but he didn't. He says, you know what? Secluded Grove, let's go for the same plan. Let's do it. As we see fiends scrambling all over the map to try to take over. And look at this. This one's the most annoying one, right? You're going to have to send some troops over there to deal with it, or you end up losing that. You also got this fiend coming over here, and he's going to try to come over here and take over the health one. And boom, 1, 2. Look at that. Already grabs both those. And you see the pings taking place as the players are like scrambling. Oh, I got to go there, got to go there. And they're just moving so fast to try to be able to hit that. All right. There's the fiend getting in, getting the confirmation. But really, we got to send these fiends and take back our towers, because the more that they're in control of our opponents, the worse it's going to be. But there it is. Brute's going to come in here, secure, and we're going to be at to, what, 3, 4, 5, 6 tower control for NightPhoenix compared to the 2. That's that kind of advantage meter moving further and further in NightPhoenix's favor, and he's taking advantage of all those additional control by getting a third base up and running. Now, oftentimes we talk about this could be a third base here, but because you have so much map control and so much awareness of what's going on, you're fine with taking this as a third base. It's also, you know, that there's basically one main avenue of attack if you are taking this third base here, right? This one you have to be much more farther forward, so it's a little risky to take that as a third base here. But look at this, more fiends coming in here, and we're just going to continue to be annoying and take over more and more towers in the process here. All right, third base is finished. Army count, that's 350 resources invested into this, though. So that means that this is a location there that is not in army supply. So there's this small window where Luolis has a little bit of a army supply lead. But the longer that this goes on, the more that this continues to improve NightPhoenix's position, right? We saw that on an earlier map there, right? When we were on Secluded Grove, not Secluded Grove. I'm now mixing up all the names because my brain has been casting all day. That's okay. The map that he was able to have 3 bases versus 2 bases. But basically what I was trying to say. Game 2, I want to say it was. Look at this. Meat Farms coming up here. The Fiend getting in, trying to get 100% confirmation of everything that's going on. And look at this. He is going to get in and confirm everything that's going on here. So, got a Greater Shrine up. We've got the army now is kind of repositioning, trying to see what's going on. Wants to send the Fiends out. This still under control, though, is like, you know, yeah, all right. That's fine. I mean, it's just more information that we're missing out on, but Fiend's going to fight over that tower there. Look, Fiend's going to... Oh, that's the confirmation. Hey, I see that you have a 3rd base. Now, it's now Luolis' turn to decide what to do. How is he going to respond to things? Is he going to get and push and move in and go for a big attack? Is he going to try to take his own 3rd base here? He is. Look at this. Skull scouts this and confirms this. So this is one of those moments where you go, okay, I'm much further ahead than you. I've had this base up so much longer than you. All right, he's even able to start getting his additional shrine up here so we can start getting additional resources, right? Not just his Luminite, but his Therium mine essentially up and running. It's a lot of gaunts, though. Both players sitting in a pretty healthy army supply, but we have to think is there is a good chunk of supply is built into workers at the moment, something that he's waiting for all of that economy to pay off. And part of that is in the tech up, the Magmadon count. We say this time and time again of there are 2 units that you need to worry about when you're fighting against an Infernal. You need to worry about Gaunts and you need to worry about Magmadons. If the Magmadons ever get on top of the Gaunts, you're in a great position here. Look at this. Gets his way in here, cleans this up. But this is a risky pocket to be in. All right, there's a little bit of pass. Will this force NightPhoenix to move in? Oh, he's going for the base. He says, I'm coming in here. What do you have to defend this? Stampedes his way, destroys all the trees. That's one of the benefits of having the Magmadon in your army. These meat farms are doing a great job absorbing, running the block, using them as a wall. And look, catches a couple units in here. They, of course, do have that infest ability going on. We're looking at that Plague Axe, and the Rush ability is finished. Does he have Rush? Oh, he doesn't. All right, so Reaper's Rush, of course, gives you that extra speed, but let's clear up and clean up as many trees as possible. Remember, it's all about getting additional avenues of attack. But that base has been up and running for a while. The Magmadon count is getting higher and higher. We're up to 4 right now. This base is going to be secured. We're going to take the center here. Will this get scouted? Will he be aware of it? The army count, though, is not as scary. I mean, look at the Gaunts. Look at the amount of Fiends that are in here. There are 5 Magmadons coming on here. 3, 4 right now. He's going for another attack. He's swinging his way into the right, and this is going to be able to trap these forces. The Magmadons can come in. Oh, he's going for the center. They're both splitting up, and he says, I'm taking out, not going to let you take the center, and I'm abandoning ship at this base. Can he trap the army in here? If he can, that'll be huge. Now, this base is going to be forfeit, though, in order to do this. There's the Infest coming down on the Magmadons. Oh, no, the Gaunt's gotten right in the wrong spot at the wrong time. You need the Magmadons up at the front to absorb hits and do the Stampede there. And there we see it is now Magmadon on Magmadon absorbing hits in the front, being those meat shields. We need some slams. Look, another Magmadon in the back there. The Gaunts are taking so much damage there, and there it is. There's the slam. Oh, nice stuns. Stops it, kills it off. Good snipe there, but so many Gaunts got weakened in that wrong positioning there of that fight. We're trying to scramble, trying to deal with this. We need to win this fight in order to stay in this game, but GG's, congrats, and NightPhoenix takes it. What a great positioning there for NightPhoenix, forcing his opponent there, attacking this tree line, moving in for the third, trying to take an expansion here, but not really relying on that because he had already had a third base where Luolis was stuck a base behind and not able to kind of commit into it. The Magmadons coming in took out so many of those gaunts there. Very, very exciting stuff to see. Congratulations to NightPhoenix, another player moving on into the grand final event later next week.